starting the episode?
Well, I mean, I haven't prepared anything because I was too busy getting distracted by my absolute felons of rats. Like, Stumpy he's he is a criminal in a very sweet way, but I mean, I've just witnessed pure criminality from him just now. Like, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's very clever.
Yes.
He went upstairs, so it was my fault because I hadn't put the barrier in front of the girls' room. The girls are in their cage tonight, and he wandered up the stairs, went into the girls' room, found a stash, and I then found him sat in front of the cage, like just a few centimetres away from the bars, eating that stash right in front of the girls, who were all on the other side of the bars, staring at him, just watching him eating their stash. And he'd actually gone and picked up bits of biscuit and stuff and dragged them all to the front of the cage so that he could eat the girls' stash in front of them where they couldn't get him.
Absolute monster.
I know. That's cold-hearted, that.
Yeah. Do you have any shit jokes?
No, I don't have any shit jokes. I've got nothing. Look, there's rats, okay? Like, the criminality and the dealing of them is just unreal. I mean, I nearly went to Aldi today with borscht in my bag. My rat borscht got into my bag, and I didn't realise. And I was just coming out of the door, and then I heard a sort of shuffle inside the bag, and he was in it. He was in my bag. What do you call a rat in a car?
I don't know.
I don't fucking know either. Don't let a rat in your car. Don't just let it wandering around free. That's just asking for trouble.
I mean, yeah. For one, they can't reach the pedals or the steering wheel.
I have had a rat loose while I was driving before. That was pretty stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, how did it get loose?
Well, I thought that he was contained perfectly well inside a carrier, and it turned out that he wasn't contained perfectly well inside a carrier at all. And he made that known to me I was driving along the motorway, looked at my left, and I just saw him on top of the headrest on the passenger seat, just looking at me.
Which one was it?
Oh, that was my boy Gingerbread. He was a criminal. He was an absolute felon.
Are you going to do a tier list of, like, criminal to innocent?
It's hard to say because, I mean, what would you consider to be a crime? I mean, my boy Coconut, he stole a cistern block from the bathroom, came downstairs with it, he was happy as Larry, he was so pleased with himself. And then when I tried to take it off him, he screamed.
Oh, yeah.
And then he trotted under the piano with it. It was a cistern block. Who's eating cistern blocks? I mean, apart from my rat.
But his toilet was going to be so clean. And now you took that away from him.
He didn't have a toilet, he was eating it because it was a tropical scent.
Oh, yeah. They look like pineapple cubes. They smell like pineapple cubes, but they're not pineapple cubes.
Yeah, don't eat them.
No. That's a mistake you only make once. Twice if you're drunk. They put them in that bowl, it looks all appetizing. Anyway, shall I get on to today's topic?
What are you talking about? What bowl?
You know, the ones...
Have you been going to some very, very fucking weird parties, man?
You know, the ones they have in the corner of the men's toilets that are all up on the wall, and then that one that's a bit lower than the others, so that children can get pineapple cubes.
What are you talking about? What?
Oh, I'm talking about urinals. That was the joke I was going
Oh, you're
for.
making a really shit joke. Oh, I see.
Well, someone had to
done.
start the
Okay,
episode
great.
with a shit joke, because apparently you haven't got any.
So what? Who are you? Literally, who are you? Who calls them pineapple
They look
cubes?
like pineapple cubes, the sort of ones you have on a stick with cheese. They look exactly the same as them.
Are you clinically insane?
No.
They don't.
The ones in
You
men's
can't
urinals
call them that.
do. They're...
Yeah, well, you're asking for trouble calling them that, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I know that now. Fuck's sake. Right, shall I get on to today's topic?
Yes.
I have a topic for us today.
Good.
Right, so I... you could refer to a row of urinals as this. The topic I have for us today is the Cock Lane Ghost.
Okay, how could you refer to a urinal as a Cock Lane ghost?
Because it's a lane where there's often lots of cocks.
No, it's not.
I mean,
If
that's
anything,
what
it's a
urinals are for.
cul-de-sac. It's not a lane.
I mean, there's a row of them side by side, unless it goes round a corner.
It's a cul. Oh, okay, a row of them. Okay, right. I thought you meant an actual, because it's really more of a cul-de-sac.
Well, it depends on the layout of the bathroom, obviously. But, fuck's sake, you're determined to, like, just...
Stop making shit jokes!
But that's how we start the episodes. Or at least we used to.
Apparently.
Right,
so Cock Lane Ghost.
yes. So, in approximately 1956 to 1957... William Kent, a usurer, it's basically a dodgy money lender.
A what?
It's like insurer, but with you on the front instead of in.
Oh.
So usurer. I think it's an old term, but he's a dodgy money lender anyway, that apparently the loans favour the lender rather than the person borrowing the money. So loan shark, for want of a better word, but... I've
never heard of that term.
No, I hadn't either.
Professionally, are you sure that's a real term? Like, because insurance, it doesn't favour usually, the entire point of insurance is that it favours the company. That's why we get my boy Luigi out there.
I think this is like sort of more dodgy than a normal, like a bank, but... less dodgy than a loan shark. Like, I don't think he breaks anyone's legs. I think he just, it's above board.
Takes the piss.
I mean, this is the.
So he's kind of like he's the Wonga of the era,
basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so William Kent, dodgy money lender from Norfolk, married a woman called Elizabeth Lynes, the daughter of a grocer from Lynham. Is that a place? Lynham. I don't know.
I assume so.
Yeah. So they got married, and they moved to Stoke Ferry, where they ran an inn, and later a post office. So from the sounds of it, William is a bit of a sort of man of many trades. I think.
Yeah, trying to find his sort of his place, I suppose.
Yeah, and
is so this is 1956.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So is the post? So wait. So this did they open an inn and then they were like, oh fuck this isn't getting us any money, and then they turned the inn into a post office, or did they have a bit of a double situation going on there?
Not entirely sure. I think it's the same building, but it's not really.
Oh, okay.
It's not really confirmed either way, but I can't imagine they were the sort to have, multiple buildings and move from one to another. Although I suppose he was a moneylender, so maybe he did have a lot of money. I don't get the impression they were particularly wealthy. I think they were just, getting by sort of thing.
But well, what's the point of him being a dodgy moneylender if he's not even getting the money? I mean, that's crap. I mean, he's rubbish.
He has at least one business on the side, an inn, and then a post office.
Maybe he's just really, really bad at getting them to give them money back. Maybe he's a bit too polite. He's not enough of a bruiser. He's got too much of a conscience.
Maybe. But that bit's not really covered much in the story, because that was this is all just sort of background to...
Oh, I was trying to work out whether I'm going to feel bad about him being hurt or something. I was just trying to gauge whether or not I'd give a crap if he, dies horribly.
Yeah, I don't think he was a particularly awful human being, but like I say, he was a dodgy moneylender, or, he was a moneylender. He wasn't like a full-on loan shark, breaking legs, making people homeless sort of thing, but he did benefit more than the more sort of above-board ways of lending money.
Okay.
Again, I think what he did was above board, but he was the person you go to when the banks wouldn't lend you money, sort of thing.
When you're desperate.
Yeah, I think he sort of, he wasn't a shining example of an upstanding citizen, but I don't think he was, involved in the criminal elements. I think he did everything within the realms of the law.
Okay.
But yeah, so they sort of were very much in love, got married, but unfortunately Elizabeth died during childbirth.
That's brutal. Yeah. It's mental to think how commonplace that was such a short time ago. I mean, to be fair, I mean, you grow an entire human and then you shit it out. I mean, that is so painful at the best of times. But then, like, there's some mad stuff that can happen when you're giving birth. Like, you can be split all the way down.
Oh.
It's horrendous.
Yeah. I suppose back in these days as well, you're probably just giving birth in your own home. Like, I don't know if sort of maternity wards were a thing back then, but I imagine it was.
I wonder if they had painkillers, because if I ever give birth, I am going to be off my tits. I'm going to be absolutely smashed.
Yeah, I would want to be as well, I think. I don't fancy that, but thankfully, I mean, maybe with the miracles of modern science, maybe one day I might have to, but wouldn't have thought so.
My best friend, she had quite a traumatic birth, and she was trying to hold off from the drugs and the gas and air and stuff. And then eventually she was like, no, just fucking give it to me. Just fucking give it to me. Which meant that when she gave birth to her son, she was just like, wee. Like, she was so stoned, or whatever you want to call it. Like, just this little boy, this tiny baby. And instead of just being like overwhelmed by the feeling of love and everything, she was just like, wee.
She was so stoned even the baby came out with the munchies.
Yeah, she was giggling at a poster on the wall that had a picture of an old lady falling over.
Why would that be in the maternity ward?
I don't know.
It's just such a weird thing to have.
I don't make the rules. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. But yeah, unfortunately Elizabeth did not laugh during the childbirth, because she died.
She wasn't stoned either. She wasn't off her tits.
No.
She was having a terrible time by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Was this their first baby?
I believe so. There's no mention of another one,
right.
So I think this was...
That's even more brutal.
Yeah.
Did the baby survive?
Yes. So the baby survived. I believe it was a baby boy. And Elizabeth's...
little baby.
Yeah. Elizabeth's sister, Frances, often referred to as Fanny, moved in to help sort of raise the baby.
Sorry, we're just leaving that, are we?
What, that the woman's called Fanny?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, there is plenty of...
When did that become a weird, a sort of rude thing? I thought it was already rude by the mid-50s.
I mean, it might be. Maybe it was one of those sort of nicknames that was, or the abbreviation of a name that was kind of done as, you know, a bit humorous. I don't know. But there's a lot of sort of interesting names. I mean, William.
Maybe a bit like my brother, because I thought I should have been born a boy when I was like between the ages of 11 and 15. I went by the name Seth, and he used to call me Sethalus, and he still calls me Sethalus. He doesn't call me anything else. He will address me as Sethalus in public.
Nice.
Maybe. No, not nice.
I mean, I'm going to start doing it now. Maybe we can get it going.
Fuck off. Don't even.
Maybe it'll finally stop the trolls from dead naming you. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, do they dead name me?
Yeah, sometimes.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to these people. It doesn't really bother me.
Fair enough.
But I mean, my dead name isn't Sethalus or anything. Like, it's just a very normal, boring name. So it's not even a dig or a gotcha.
No.
Especially since it is still legally my name. I haven't got around to changing it yet. Literally, the only person who calls me by my dead name is my dad.
Yeah, I mean, parents, they...
But he does call me Sethalus when he wants to piss me off.
I like the sound of your dad. I might have to take a leaf out of his book.
Right, anyway, sorry.
Yes. So Fanny moved in to help with the baby. Right. And there's a lot of good, like, genital-based names. You've already got a William, a.k.a. Willie. He didn't go by Willie, but, you know, we can call him Willie if you want. Willie and Fanny. And there's a few more later. Yeah.
I'm a child.
But yeah, so Fanny moved in to help with the baby. Unfortunately, although the baby did survive the initial birth, the baby didn't actually live much longer. I don't know how long, but I don't think it made it to, you know, toddler sort of age. Yeah, it's a bit of a sad one, that. But rather than leave, now that obviously looking after the baby wasn't wasn't needed anymore, Fanny decided to stay, and Willie and Fanny began a relationship together. Obviously, maybe, with all the grief going on, or, the closeness of raising a baby together.
Yeah, a bit of a trauma bond there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that happens. I don't think that's especially sordid, It's not like they were having an affair when her sister was still alive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel. I'd probably be a bit like, can you not? But I mean, I'd be dead, so I suppose it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Not to get too far ahead in the story, but there are reports later that sort of William and Fanny were, very much in love. They were, a loving couple. So I don't think it was, of convenience or anything. I think it was, just two people met in a weird way and fell in love, sort of thing. So yeah, they began their relationship, but common law at the time made it illegal for someone to marry the sister of a deceased spouse, especially as Elizabeth had given him a child. That made it so that William couldn't marry Fanny, essentially. It made it outright illegal.
I have a question.
Yep.
Was it illegal for the gender swapped version? Because I thought that it wasn't unusual for widows to marry their husband's brother.
I honestly don't know.
Okay. I'm just thinking there's quite a few, classical novels and stuff where that sort of thing happens casually.
Yeah.
Mind you, I mean, it could have been a law but that's quite an archaic law, though, because I was just going to say maybe it was one that had been implemented, in the late 1800s or something, but it's quite archaic.
Yeah, it is a bit weird as well, with, back then, women often being seen as almost like property, that you'd think it'd almost be legal for a husband that's lost one wife to just be free to marry whoever he wants, regardless.
Well, yeah.
Within the same family, to carry on, legacies or whatever they cared about back then. I don't know. It's a weird one, but yeah, he couldn't marry Fanny, unfortunately.
Aww.
Yeah, but they stayed in relationship, and and apparently her family did disapprove. So they initially split, I think, because of this inability to marry and, form for want of a better word, a real relationship. I imagine marriage was a lot more important back then. So William left, they gave up the post office, and William moved to London, while Fanny stayed with her family in Lynham. But despite her family objecting quite strongly, Fanny did continue to write to William, and they did rekindle their relationship. So, they both had an out, but it carried on.
Why did the family give a shit?
I imagine it's probably because William was originally married to Elizabeth, and maybe they just saw it
so
as
it's literally just, what will the neighbours say?
Maybe. It's not really sort of shown why. Maybe they saw him as like, oh, well, I've had one sister, I may as well have the other. I don't know. Maybe they see it as not genuine. Maybe there's a genuine concern. I don't know. Or maybe, yeah, just because it's illegal, and they're like, we don't do that around here, it's improper.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but... So they rekindled the relationship, and they basically lived as a married couple, but without actually being married. They remained sort of quite discreet, to hide maybe the sort of illicit nature of their relationship. I don't know. I think they basically, pretended to be married and sort of moved back in together. I believe she moved in with him, but they had a bit of a falling out with their landlord, who found out about their relationship.
Oh, God. Just, leave people alone.
Yeah.
It's none of your business. Just get wrecked.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, apparently it was quite a big disagreement as well, by the sounds of things, because William had lent this landlord some money as part of his dodgy, his money lending.
Okay,
so the landlord, and a quote, showed his contempt by refusing to repay £20 that William had lent him. So he was refusing to repay his debts.
What a knobhead! I would be furious. 20 quid as well.
Oh, yeah, back then.
If someone said they weren't going to give me 20 quid... Now! If someone said they weren't going to give me 20 quid because I'm shacked up with someone that they don't approve of, I'd be fuming. 20 quid, I mean, you can buy a fair bit of snacks with that.
Oh, yeah, get some
And then
decent
back
snacks
then,
for that.
I mean, maybe about 100, maybe, I don't know. Well, too much anyway.
Yeah, but there's a weird power dynamic there that the landlord owed the tenant money. That's just that seems a weird. Normally, the landlord's the one with all the power, but because he's basically a loan shark, William actually kind of holds a bit of power back. It's a bit of a strange one, that, to lend money to your own landlord.
It seems quite risky. I don't think.
Yeah,
I want to do that.
That is a bit of a recurring theme of William. I think lending money to landlords.
Oh no. Yeah, so I mean, maybe he was too trusting, and if he is this sort of, I don't know, slightly dodgy, like
this all sounds.
He's not like a bit daft, is he? Do we think?
I don't think so. I think he's quite sort of switched on, and based on later in the story, I think he's not naive, or he's not particularly dumb. I think he knows how to handle himself in terms of from a legal point of view. I think he's just unfortunate. I think a lot of it.
Okay.
But he did have some good fortune. While attending some morning prayers, William and Fanny met a man called Richard Parsons, another genital-based name. Good old Dick Parsons. They met, a man called Richard Parsons, who was the officiating clerk at the morning prayers, and he was quite sympathetic to their story and offered them lodging at his home on Cock Lane, quite a respectable but declining part of London. So William and Fanny basically moved in with Richard Parsons and his family. Richard had a wife and 2 daughters, the oldest of which was a 11-year-old girl called Elizabeth.
Right.
So that sounds. I don't know how big this house is. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 stories, so it's like a townhouse. But that's 2 families living under one roof. That's pretty mad.
Was this because he didn't really have a lot of money? So.
Possibly. I think maybe he just moved, and this guy wasn't repaying his old landlord wasn't repaying the debt. I think that Richard just took a bit of pity on the story and just said, maybe back then it was more common for families to live together, or maybe Richard had money problems of his own and thought, well, if a second family lives here and helps out with the rent, I have more money to spend on snacks and stuff. I don't know.
Did he know that they weren't actually married then?
I assume so. That doesn't really come up. I think at this point they were maybe sort of just pretending to be married.
It is quite interesting that they're going for morning prayers, so presumably quite religious, but then they're living in sin. I wonder how that mental gymnastics used to work.
I don't know if it is. Oh yeah, I suppose it is living in sin, isn't it? If they're not married, I think maybe as part of their sort of their story, maybe they were just married and they saw themselves as married, essentially. I think at this point they were just. I think because they'd moved away, that they were just we're married, and no one check our certificates. I don't know.
I don't think they said that. I don't think they said, we are married, and also please don't check the certificates.
Yeah. Or just wave them very quickly.
You're just asking for trouble then. Yeah, just flash them up in it.
Yeah. Just a very quick don't look too close. Yeah. So to make stories a bit more confusing, Elizabeth was the name of the dead ex-wife, but also the name of the 11-year-old eldest daughter of Richard. So Elizabeth Parsons is pretty much who I'm going to try and distinguish between the two, but if I say Elizabeth, it just means the 11-year-old daughter. So because Fanny was now pregnant with Richard's second child, I believe this is Fanny's first, Elizabeth, the daughter, was asked to basically stay with Fanny to keep her, company, keep an eye on that sort of thing. They slept in the same bed together. I get the impression this house wasn't that big, so people sharing beds, that sort of thing. And this is all while William was away, presumably on business. It's not really said why, but maybe he was out, looking for work or dealing with loans from the previous location. I'm not entirely sure. But one night when Elizabeth and Fanny were sharing a bed, they heard scraping and rapping sounds. Now, I assume that's, rapping as in tapping, not, delightful urban music. But Richard the owner of the house, blamed these noises on a neighbouring cobbler, even though the noises were present outside of cobbling hours. So on Sundays, I presume.
Cobbling hours. What the
Sorry, mate, cobbler's hours.
I don't know why I find that so funny. Why do I find that so funny? What? I'm just imagining those parking signs, you know, no parking, no cobbling within these hours except 9 to 5.
Sorry, sir.
No return to cobbling within 1 hour.
Noise outside of cobbling hours? Are you mad? What is this rapping and tapping outside of cobbling hours?
Jesus. Okay, right. So so there's quite a few people in the house. So even though your man is away, they were hearing tapping in their bedroom.
Tapping and rapping, yes.
Sorry, what's the difference between tapping and rapping, please?
Don't know. It just says...
Sure, no! What's the difference? You can't just say I don't know.
I think tapping is more rhythmical. Rapping is like a quicker pace. I think it's probably a musical term.
Okay.
But yeah, they heard these noises, you know, at different times. Outside of cobbling hours, that is important. And a landlord of the nearby Wheatsheaf pub also heard similar noises. A man called James Franzen heard the thing.
Did they hear them in the room or like outside somewhere? Is that why he said it was a cobbler?
From what I gather, it sounds like it's coming from the walls. It's
right. So a guy at a pub, what, next door, heard it?
It says a nearby Wheatsheaf pub.
Well, it's got to be next door, isn't it? Because why would he be hearing tapping the same? It would be treated as a separate incident, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be like, oh, I'm hearing tapping next street along. Oh, I'm hearing tapping too. It must be the same source. It must be the same cobbler.
Yeah, maybe. I think from the sounds of it, it's not coming from the room where the people are hearing it. So it could be, you know, when you hear a noise and you're like, oh, is that something in the walls or is that something outside, where you can't quite place where it's coming from? I mean, It does say scraping, so that's kind of, that doesn't imply long distance sound, does it? Scraping.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So after visiting the house, James visited Richard's house and he reported seeing a ghostly white figure ascend the stairs. So terrified, he returned home. Richard then visited James and claimed to have also seen a ghost. So these two, Richard and James, have both seen a ghost within Richard's house.
Wait, sorry. So James is the pub owner?
Yes, James is the pub owner.
Right, oh, okay, right. So they knew each other, so presumably regulars. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So was... Wait, so was Richard just trolling then? Because James goes over to his and says, oh shit, I saw a spooky ghost. And then Richard's like, well, I saw a spooky ghost at your place.
Oh no, Richard went to James's and reported seeing a ghost within his own house. So they've both seen ghosts within Richard's house.
Oh, that makes more sense because it sounded like...
Yeah, I think he must have gone round and said, yeah,
it sounded like a proper, like, no you situation.
Yeah, no, your house is more haunted.
No, you've got a ghost. You.
Your house has rapping and tapping outside of cobbling hours. I have a good mind to report you, sir. They're just threatening each other with legal action for non-cobble hour noises. But no, they've seen a ghost within Richard's house. So from what I gather, James saw it first when visiting, when they were, I assume, discussing the rapping and the tapping. And then...
But they didn't call it a ghost. They called it a what?
Oh, no, they said a ghost. A ghostly white figure.
There we go, right.
Yeah, so I think they have acknowledged that it's you know, spiritual and ghostly. I think... Actually, no, ghostly white figure. So, yeah, a ghost. So I think James saw it first, ran home scared, and then Richard then called round later, maybe saw it second, and went round to Jim because, yeah, shit, I've just seen the same thing. You know.
Was James, like, round over for a brew or something, and then Richard goes out of the room to get the bickies.
Yeah.
James sees the ghost and he's like, oh, shit! He goes flaming out. Richard's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like...
It's just a bit weird. Like, it feels like he just ran away, didn't say anything. Like, if I was around at someone's house and I saw a ghost, I would tell them immediately.
Well, I assume he must have told him, because he left scared, and then later Richard went round to say that he'd seen the same thing.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But you made it sound as if he, like, told him while he was running out the door.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he did. It does say he returned home terrified, so I think he must have left in a hurry by the sounds of things. So yeah, the house is now potentially haunted. Is allegedly haunted. So, as... I don't know if this is related or whether this is just because Fanny is only weeks away from giving birth, but William made arrangements for him and Fanny to move to a place in Bartlett's Court in Clerkenwell.
Right.
I assume, from what I gather, this is more to get her ready to give birth rather than, shit, there's a ghost not around my unborn child sort of thing. I don't think William knows about the haunting at this stage.
I really love the idea of the response to a ghostly figure being seen being, oh shit, there's a ghost. Rather than just going, oh, well, it could be this, it could be that, there's something going on. Like, why do these people run straight to the ghost theory?
I mean, this was like, what was it, 1750 something? This, everything back then that was unexplained was like, oh, it's either gods or ghosts. It's, a lot of things weren't as known back then, so they probably didn't think to check other things. I don't know. But, yeah, so...
What, sorry, 1750?
1756 to 1757, I believe, yeah.
Didn't you say 1956 at the start?
I certainly meant to say 1756.
I think you did. Well, how come you were okay with me? Because I said 1956, and then I said that law about not marrying your brother was archaic, so now I look like an idiot. Because it was archaic. It was literally archaic times.
I'm going to have to go back and listen now.
Oh, for freak's sake. Right, well, I sound like an idiot.
It's fine. It's probably my fault. Don't worry.
Yeah, it probably is your fault, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's always my fault. I've lost my place in my notes now because I had to scroll back to check the actual date.
Well, whose fault is that?
Also mine. So, William and Fanny moved to Bartlett's Court in Clerkenwell, but the property wasn't ready for them. So instead, they moved, and this is a quote, to an inconvenient apartment nearby as a temporary measure. I don't know what they mean by inconvenient. Okay. Maybe it was too small.
Probably just a room.
Yeah.
It would just be a room, wouldn't it?
So they're near Bartlett's Court, but not in the place they want to be. So during Fanny's checkups for sort of, getting ready to give birth, a doctor visited and diagnosed the early stages of eruptive fever, stating that the temporary lodgings they were in weren't suitable for someone in such a critical stage of pregnancy.
Right.
So that then got them into the place at Bartlett's Court. I don't know if the landlord put a rush on things at doctor's orders, but she was moved to Bartlett's Court by coach. But apparently that wasn't good enough, because during the next doctor's visit, Fanny was diagnosed with smallpox. So,
oh God.
Yeah, she's having a rough old...
That is not what you need.
Yeah.
You're growing an entire human and you get smallpox. That's just out of order.
Yeah. Starting to think William's a bit cursed, what with his wife dying during his first son, and now Fanny becoming very, very ill during her pregnancy as well. So Fanny, apparently quite, proactive and got her head screwed on by the sounds of things. She sent for her attorney and to make sure her will was in order. So, her estate would be handled.
Oh God, that's grim. The fact that she's even having to think like that, that's awful.
Yeah. And unfortunately she did die shortly after. So
No!
Yeah. And I don't even think she got to the...
hell?
I don't think she even got to the child birth sort of thing. So presumably the child died as well.
Oh, no, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's awful.
So
no, don't tell me that. So he's now living in a new place that he got to be with her after they spent ages together. And that's awful. No, fuck you. Give me a happy story.
Well, this is kind of happy. William inherited her estate. So the will, that Fanny had checked,
was
all in order.
Well, what estate did she have? I mean, didn't you say they were kind of not doing well for money?
I think they were maybe middle class based on this. I don't think they were, proper working class, hand to mouth sort of thing. I think they had enough, but I don't think they were, of aristocracy or anything like that. So William inherited £150 that Fanny had inherited from her brother's estate.
Right.
So, and a share of some land. So I guess they were landowners as well, which came to about £95 in value. So he, William ended up with, what's that, £245 worth of stuff shared across land and the dead brother's estate. But legal problems with the sale of the land meant that all beneficiaries had to pay £45 each. So,
come on!
So he actually kind of inherited £50 worth of land, but William refused to pay this £45, claiming that he'd already spent all of the money that he'd inherited settling Fanny's debts. So I think she also had some debts as well.
Oh, right.
So everyone...
Why was he liable to her debts, though? They weren't married. So why would he need to... Was he talking shit, maybe?
I think he just wanted... He saw that she had lots of debts and he just settled them for... he's a money lender.
Really?
He doesn't like
Did
debt.
he? Did he, though? Because you're talking crap. You're like, oh, he's a money lender. He doesn't like debt. What?
He doesn't like being in debt.
What are you talking about? Yeah, but why would it be his debt?
Well, because he was the inheritant. He inherited the estate, didn't he, because of the will? So I assume he inherited the debts as well.
Yeah, but do you inherit debts? I'm pretty sure you don't put debts in the will, do you?
No,
I mean,
but if you're
ridiculous.
when you get the estate, you get everything. It's not just the money, is it? It's the
okay,
legal
so the debts
responsibilities.
Were tied to the estate.
I assume.
Okay.
But Fanny's family resented William for inheriting this. When they knew that.
Oh, didn't they get anything? It's just him that gets stuff.
I think so. It's not mentioned whether they received anything, but I mean, he did get. He only got a share of the land, so presumably they got some as well, but they all had to pay this £45 fee, so... Whereas he didn't, because he basically said, I haven't got any money. But they didn't like him because of this anyway. It sounds like it was a bit of, a falling out with the family. I mean, they probably saw it as he's killed 2 of their daughters by this point.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? Probably really, really awkward at the Christmas table.
Yeah, I don't think they had much to do with each other after this, the family.
Yeah.
In a sort of repeating fashion, Richard, not the landlord, but the family that William was staying with, Richard hadn't repaid a loan that William had lent him. So William has lent money to his landlord yet again, and yet again the landlord has not repaid him.
Right, the landlord that said there's a frigging ghost.
Yeah.
The landlord that's clearly nuts. Okay.
Yeah. There's apparently about 3 guineas outstanding at this point. So I don't know if that's a lot. I mean, it's not the £20 the previous landlord owed him, but it's some money. And apparently it was enough for William to instruct his solicitor to sue Richard for the remaining money.
Right. Even though he's... Right, okay.
So eventually this debt was repaid. So Richard repaid the 3 guineas by January in 1762. Now that one I do have written down as 1962. So.
Oh, for God's sake.
But yeah, it was eventually repaid within a few years, is the long and short of that. And that was about the time the mysterious noises had started at Cock Lane. So I'm guessing this is while Fanny was still alive. But the repaying of the debt sounds like it was repaid begrudgingly. And this was about the time the noises started. And these noises seem to be focused around the daughter, Elizabeth, who also suffered from seizures. So the haunting is very much around Elizabeth, this 11-year-old girl. So Richard had a carpenter remove the panelling from around Elizabeth's bed, and also consulted a local preacher called John Moore to try and get to the source of the noises. It's always good when you got...
Hang on, so this was before or after he saw the ghost? Or was it a case of, look, it's probably just the pipes, love, but I'm taking no chances? get the priest in.
Yeah, the fact that he's called a priest as well makes me think that this is after the ghost has been spotted. It's always good when you call in a tradesman and a priest, isn't
it? Yeah. Could you imagine how awkward it would be? You get a tradesman over and a priest crops up. The tradesman's like, what exactly is going on here? Like, I've just came to fix the washing machine.
Yeah.
There's some guy, like, burning sage all around the house.
Yeah.
Like,
swinging those sort of, like, that, whatever it's called, you know, the thing on the end of a chain.
Oh, yeah. Look at
the
poor tradesman's trying to, pull the wall apart and everything. There's some idiot in the next room just going, oh.
Yeah. Excuse me, mate. Where's your stopcock? What's that priest doing? Like, I need to shut the water off, but the priest's in the way. Like, look, you do your job. You focus on the pipes and let the priest do his thing.
Why is the priest in the way in your version of this story? The priest just getting in the way.
Yeah. He's probably trying to bless constantly. The pipes.
No, that's not what
the holy water.
That's not what priests do.
Holy water on tap. How good's that? I mean, you just want it if your house is haunted.
That's a good idea. I wonder why no one's ever done that.
I think we've got a business
Well,
here.
you apparently don't think so. All right, fine, screw you. I was thinking that's a really good business plan. Just go around people's houses and bless their.
I literally just said I think we found a business.
Oh.
I mean, we'd almost certainly end up in hell for doing it.
Yeah, I'm bargaining on that not being a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to hell anyway, to be fair.
Well, everyone's going to hell. Everyone is going to hell because they are actively doing things that God said you shouldn't do all the time. Like, literally, the fact that as a female, I have talked back to a male. That's I'm probably going to hell.
My God, I will pray for you. As I said, my God, in blasphemy.
Of different fabrics as well.
Yeah.
I keep eating a fish on a Friday. So.
Oh, I had some Worcester sauce today. So I have technically had some fish.
Right. Yeah, you're going to hell. Sorry.
I thought you had to have fish on a Friday.
Oh. Well, when did it change? Did it switched over? So does that mean everyone who wasn't eating fish on a Friday is now in hell, or what? Or did they get to,
I don't know. I know fish on a Friday is tradition, isn't it? And I always thought it came from Christian traditions. I might be wrong.
Okay. Was the carpenter there on a Friday as well? He's like, oh, for God's sake, I just want my chippy tea.
Yeah.
There's this priest just walking around.
Yeah, oh, come on, mate. This is outside of cobbling hours. Why am I doing your pipes?
That's different. Piping hours are different.
Oh, yeah, okay. I imagine they overlap slightly, but yeah, they probably are different hours.
Oh, yeah. There'll be an overlap, I expect. Yeah, absolutely.
Pipes in the morning, cobbles in the afternoon, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So after this bullshit.
So there's a friggin'...
Yeah. So yeah, he's got the a carpenter and a preacher in. I mean, Jesus was a carpenter. Anyway, so
what relevance is that?
I don't
Do you mean
know.
that like the carpenter's there and the priest just goes to him and says, "Hey, I knew someone who was a carpenter and all."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, no, you didn't know Jesus personally." And then he'd be like, "But I do."
Yeah, Jesus, he knows me.
Go away.
He was actually Phil Collins.
Oh Christ!
Oh.
That's not what you want at all. That's even worse. That's far worse.
Yeah, you don't want to be haunted by Phil Collins. Fucking hell.
No.
Just busting out drum solos at 2 a.m. Maybe that's what the rapping was. The rapping and the tapping.
I don't want to get Susudio'd.
Oh no! Did you just bust out a Susudio pun?
Well, you'd get Susudio'd.
You would get Susudio.
That's horrifying.
Fucking hell.
Susudio. Is Phil Collins the ghost? That's why James was so scared. He saw Phil Collins, and Phil Collins was like, Susudio.
Yeah, she's an
James
easy
was like, I'm
lover.
not standing around for this.
And then just he ran off, yeah. Fuck's sake. The ghost of Phil Collins. Oh, no. Well, I don't think it was the ghost of Phil Collins. I'm fairly certain of that. So there was a commonly held belief back then that ghosts often return to warn those who are still alive. So they believed the ghost they'd seen to be Elizabeth Lyons, which was William's first wife, not the daughter. And they believed that the noises they were now hearing, so the ghost they saw the first time, they believed to be Elizabeth, coming back to warn people of something. And they believed the ghost they're now seeing was actually the ghost of Fanny, and that Fanny and Elizabeth had an important message for them, with them being John and Richard.
Whoa, hang on. This is... wait. I'm sorry, what are you talking about? You just said that Fanny's still alive, and they're opening up the walls.
This must be after Fanny had died, sorry.
Oh my
God. It's a bit of a confusing story, because there's two ghosts.
Yes, it is a bit of a confusing story. Oh, God. Oh yeah, that's... Well, two ghosts. That's proper confusing, that.
So I think this must be when the noises started a second time. It said that they started,
right,
but
okay.
I'm guessing this has started again.
So the first time, why are they thinking, right, who is it that is saying the first one was your lass and the second one was your other lass?
So this is Richard Parsons, the owner of the house.
Yeah.
And John Moore is the priest that he roped in to help with all this.
Is the priest saying that?
So they've come to this conclusion together that, presumably after discussing it and doing whatever investigation they need to do, that the timeline of their beliefs is that Elizabeth showed up to warn Fanny, and then Fanny obviously died, and now these new noises that they're hearing, which weirdly are the same as the first set of noises, is actually Fanny, and that Fanny has a message for John and Richard. The land.
Right, I've got a question.
Yep.
What is wrong with these two idiots? Because, like, if it's the sound happening again and it sounds the same as it did the first time, why would it be a different ghost anyway?
Yeah.
These guys are mental. I mean, for a start, they're saying, "Oh, it must be ghost." So they've gone from 0 to 100 in about a second. I mean, this is Ferrari levels.
Yeah. Well, I think ghosts are a thing back here because there is the common belief that ghosts have important messages for the living.
Okay, yeah, fine, but what if it's the same noises? Like, surely the second time, if it was Fanny, then there'd be a little bit, it'd be more of her language. Like, she wouldn't be rapping, she'd be thudding or something. I don't friggin' know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through these guys' heads.
These guys, they're making crap up, are these lads. Yeah. They are making crap up. I mean, I don't know if your man Richard is just trying to make it so that he can continue to get tenants.
I mean, maybe.
Because he's like, oh, it's okay. It's not a spooky, scary ghost. It's literally just the dead wife of a previous tenant showing up twice and tapping the walls because she wants to warn people that they're going to, I don't know, get smallpox. Yeah. And that's another thing. Your last, the first ghost, well, she did a crap job, didn't she?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Did a terrible job.
Rubbish. What? How do you articulate? Like, what exactly do you think she was warning her of? Moving to the new place?
We will get onto that because Richard and John...
Oh, okay, all right, sorry, yeah.
Richard and John devised a method of communication with the ghost. It involved... It's exactly what you'd expect. It's 1 knock for yes, 2 knocks for no. So, that old trope. Maybe they...
Sorry, so the vicar is...
I think this vicar, and it's quite significant that I think he was a Methodist, which they do tend to believe... Let me just double check this. I don't want to be getting on the wrong side of religious people.
Yeah, you don't want to piss off the Methodists.
So I don't want to get haunted.
No, they'll be calling in. How dare you say that we believe in ghosts?
Yeah. Yes, it's Methodists who do believe tend to believe more in like afterlife in like a ghostly sense. Is what I believe. They're more likely to believe in the supernatural. Is what I'm reading here. I'm not a Methodist. I can't confirm or deny that, but that's So I think he's more open to the idea of it being a ghost. So maybe that's why he's sort of gone with it. But they've set up this communication method so that they can ask it questions. 1 knock for yes, 2 for no. And using that method, they revealed that Fanny had actually been murdered, which was what the ghost of Elizabeth had originally appeared to warn Fanny of. So this first ghost was like, yo, Fanny, you're going to get murdered. Knock, knock, knock. Don't get murdered, sort of
Right,
thing.
well, she could have articulated a bit better, couldn't she?
Yeah.
How the hell is she supposed to get that from knocking and rapping outside of cobbling hours? That's insane.
Yeah. As far as...
I wouldn't even bother. Like, why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother?
she tried, bless her. But, and this is where something's a little bit crazy. As the first ghost, that being Elizabeth, had now vanished, charges of murder were never actually acted upon. So they never made a formal accusation. Because, what are you going to say? This ghost just said, William's murdered Fanny. Sort it out. Yeah.
Whoa, hang on. So how do they know they're talking to the first ghost?
No, they're now talking to Fanny.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So Fanny said, I was murdered.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
But now that Elizabeth's gone, you can't... their star witness has gone. I don't know. But basically they didn't, call the police and go and, start an official investigation into the murder of Fanny.
Right, because they wouldn't have been able to get a ghost to come into the witness box.
Exactly. But that
would be the weirdest episode of Judge Judy ever, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Just a ghost comes in, woo, yes, I saw the murder.
But, so now they started interrogating Fanny, which is an excellent band name. It revealed that she had not died of smallpox, but actually arsenic poisoning that William had administered 2 hours before Fanny had died. And the ghost of Fanny wanted justice. Wanted Fanny justice.
Oh my god. What? So how long after she's died? So are they digging her up and testing?
No, this is what the ghost has said. The ghost...
What? No. But like the ghost... So the ghost told them I was poisoned with arsenic.
Yeah. I don't know how the ghost is supposed to know this, because if she knew it, then she wouldn't have drunk it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Are they able to do a test on the body then?
We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
Okay, because I'm just imagining these two guys, and probably James shows up as well, just being like, oh, I saw a spooky ghost. So your landlord, guy who runs a pub, and a vicar come in and say, look, a ghost told us that this lass was murdered.
Yeah.
So we need you to dig up a body and test it.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't think the pub landlord is involved at this point. I think it is just...
Oh, he was too scared then.
Yeah, I think it's just the priest.
Yeah, he just left. Okay.
So the landlord's called James, the priest is called John, and Richard is the sort of owner of the house with the daughter that's apparently haunted.
The pub, not the landlord, the pub owner is called James.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I meant pub landlord, right, yeah. But yeah, the pub owner is called James, and he's not in the story at this point. I think he may come back later.
Okay, no, he's just left. He's like, no, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, ghost shit, not bothering.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, if I thought there was a spooky ghost, I'd probably cut ties, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. So John the priest had heard from Fanny's family that her coffin lid had been screwed down before the burial, suggesting that William had intentionally stopped people from seeing the body, and therefore any scarring related to smallpox. So John,
that makes sense.
Yeah, John the priest has essentially said William was being a bit shady about people seeing the body, which would imply that he was hiding something.
Well, I don't know. I mean, smallpox is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, it really messes you up.
Oh yeah, apparently it results in horrible scarring and stuff. So
yeah, it's very disfiguring.
Yeah, so if he had poisoned her, he would want people to not see the body.
Well, yeah, obviously, but how would they even know that she'd been poisoned from the body?
Well, if there's no scarring on the body, then it can't have been smallpox, which was what was claimed, I think is what he's suggesting.
Oh, so no one had... Oh, I see. But then... Okay, no, sorry. Right, no. Yeah, I'll let you keep going.
So John, and he was indeed a Methodist, was inclined to trust the ghost because, I'm guessing Methodists believe and trust ghosts. But just in case, he enlisted fellow Methodist Thomas Broughton to help. So he roped in a second Methodist. So John and Thomas... Is John Thomas a euphemism for a penis? The old John Thomas?
I don't think... Can you...
There's a lot of dick-based names, and Fanny. But they were both convinced that the ghost was real and the murder accusation was true. So they both believed this, this ghost. And they presumably started telling people, and, public suspicion began to grow around William that he'd murdered Fanny and maybe even Elizabeth, his first wife. The story seems to focus around Fanny. So, seeing this sort of suspicion grow, William set out to clear his name, and he went to see John, the priest, and he took along with him an unknown witness. This witness isn't really covered much in the story, so I don't think it's anyone of significance. And John and Richard, sort of in their discussion, showed William the list of questions that they had written up to ask the ghost of Fanny. And one of the questions on the list, they haven't asked the ghost this at this stage, but one of the questions was specifically around William and Fanny's marital status, which then prompted William to admit that they were never actually married. So I'm assuming that they were masquerading as a married couple to everyone in this location. But he's admitted they weren't married. And
I mean, that's not the kind. As you said, when they told people they were married, they said, "Please don't check our records."
Yeah.
So maybe someone just random was like, "Oh, I'll just check, just see." So I don't think it would be unusual for them to have worked out. Like, I don't think they needed a ghost to tell them that.
No, perhaps not. So this is where I'm a bit confused on the story. It says that John, the priest, told William that he did not believe him to be a murderer. Instead, he believed there was something a bit darker going on. So John believes the ghost, but doesn't believe that William is actually a murderer. So maybe he thinks the ghost is mistaken, or I don't know at this stage. Yeah.
The guy's talking to a frigging ghost.
Yeah.
Can we just leave? Just don't. The fact that it's got to this point where William's like, look. Yeah. The fact that he's having to defend himself against two blokes, or three blokes now, isn't it? Who are saying, look, a ghost told us that you that you murdered your not wife.
Yeah. I mean, John has communicated with the ghost at this point.
Can you imagine? John.
John's the priest.
Yeah, the priest. Yeah. Yes, the priest. But William hasn't, has he?
No, William hasn't.
Well, no. So he's been like, he's having to come to him. Can you imagine being dragged to a meeting where there's three blokes who are like, look, there's a ghost that told us that you murdered your girlfriend. You'd be like, oh God. The thing is, if I was William, if I was him, I'd be like, right, these three men are very mental. I'm in a room with them. They're talking about a frigging ghost. They're I mean, if they're priests, they're probably, they've got good social standing, I expect. So I'm like, right, I need to be careful what I say, because obviously they're completely batshit.
Yes.
But if I just outright deny it and don't humour them about there being a ghost, they might just go all out balls to the wall and say that I'm definitely a murderer. So I'd probably be like, oh yeah, the ghost, yeah. So the ghost that you definitely heard. Are you sure you listened? You heard the right thing? Because I mean, the thing is, the line between the afterlife and the current life, it can get. There's a little bit of interference there. It's like a broadband connection. It's not great all the time. Why don't you just go off and make another note and talk to the ghost, and then while they're off, I'll just leave. I'll just leave forever.
Well, apparently, William is thinking along the same sort of lines as you, because although he doesn't do a runner, but him and John must come to some sort of, because John's not outright accusing William of murder. John doesn't, thinks there might be a mistake, and obviously William wants to prove his innocence or what have you. But I'm guessing. I'm guessing William...
Sorry. No, it's the fact that you said John thinks there might have been a mistake.
Yeah.
They're talking to a fucking ghost.
This is the 1700s, 1750s or whatever. Come on, give him some slack.
Oh, God.
But so John and William, anyway, come to an understanding that they should go to the house on Cock Lane in the hopes that they can witness something together and they can figure stuff out. So John has now got William to come along, and... they got a few other people as well, I assume for the sake of transparency and, safety of getting extra witnesses. So they got two of the physicians who attended to Fanny in her last days, and they conducted a séance at the house on Cock Lane. All these new people that were now attending the séance that hadn't communicated with ghosts before, they were all warned that the ghost was particularly sensitive to disbelief. So, you know...
Of course.
Yeah. The ghost is very sensitive about people thinking it doesn't exist. Of course it would be. And they should give the ghost its due respect. So everyone was instructed, be respectful, and we'll get this séance and we'll communicate with the ghost. Okay. Yeah. So there's quite a few people getting involved in this now. We've got, the priest, we've got Richard, the homeowner, we've got William, the accused murderer, and we've got 2 physicians. And I think there's a few more as well. So
I imagine the cobbler showed up as well, just to clear his name.
Yeah, outside of the hours, obviously, because otherwise he's cobbling. So the groups...
But no, if hang on, no, hold that back. He's not cobbling though while he's there.
Oh no, that's what I mean. It's outside of cobbling hours.
You don't do.
That's
no, but it wouldn't matter if it was inside of cobbling hours, because you don't become the verb of your profession, do you? Like he doesn't show up places and he's just cobbling.
Oh no, but that's what I mean. But if it was within cobbling hours, he'd be cobbling and be busy. So the séance must happen outside of cobbling hours, in his leisure time.
Okay, so you're saying that they had to make sure
yeah.
that they didn't do it in cobbling hours, because then he would have had to bring his cobbling gear, and he would have been cobbling while séancing.
Oh no, he'd just be next door cobbling. Be like, sorry mate, I've got to work today. I can't be doing séances. And his noises would be interfering with the yes/no binary of the ghost communication. Right.
Well, I think these guys need to be a little bit more. I think there should be more. Open to letting a guy cobble outside of the hours. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they should really. But yeah, so they conducted this séance.
You're just leaving that. You're like, okay, that died. That whole string of not a joke, that died a good 5 minutes ago. I literally heard you check out.
Oh,
but then I just thought, I'm going to keep going because I might be able to save it.
I just read this next part of my notes, and I am very excited to get to it.
Right, okay.
So they've also enlisted a relative of Richard called Mary Fraser in this.
Okay. So the landlord's
family are getting involved.
They're getting involved now. Okay.
This isn't his wife who lived with them, by the looks of things. This is a different relative. But so the group sat around a room on the upper floor of this house, and I don't know what gave Mary the confidence, but she started the séance. And this is the quote.
Mary is Mary is the friend, the
relative
family
of Richard. Yeah,
right. Yes, okay.
And she started the séance, and this is the line that I was quite excited to get to because I'm not entirely sure I can keep a straight face while saying this. Bear in mind, this woman is running around the room and shouting this like a Kate Bush music video. And she is yelling.
Right. Is that how they started séances?
This is how I'm envisioning it. She's wearing like flowing robes. Okay. She's flailing all around the place, sort of somewhat gracefully, but also slightly comically. But she is saying, "Fanny, Fanny, why don't you come? Do come, pray, Fanny. Come, dear Fanny, come." So that is mental.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
Look. I don't know, to be fair to her, it didn't mean that at the time, did it?
No, but it means it to me now.
See,
and I find
that whole
it hilarious.
Bit at the start, because you said that it was 1950s, so I was like, oh, it was a Fanny a rude thing in the night, which it probably was. So that whole intro bit, you're just going to have to cut it out, because I sound like an absolute buffoon. But obviously in the 1700s, Fanny didn't mean either back bottom or front bottom. So I can't believe I just called it that.
I can't either.
Well, I mean,
you've betrayed your northern roots.
She's persuasive. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
I think I if I was Fanny, I'd be like, oh, all right then, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm here now. What do you want? But Fanny did not agree with you, as nothing happened.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
John, the priest, believed that the ghost would not appear as they were making too much noise. So this flailing around, yelling about Fanny, apparently had convinced the ghost not to show up. So he asked the wider group to leave, and he would communicate with the ghost by stamping his foot. So while they're all out of the room, which seems weird because if they're making too much noise, stamping is the last way. But apparently that worked. So about 10 minutes later...
No. How does that work? I'm sorry. How? So he stamps, and then what? The ghost stamps back? Like, what? How can they know what they're communicating?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's stamping lightly.
No,
I think he's just trying to get the attention...
but then what?
Of the ghost.
Oh, he's trying to get the attention of the ghost. Oh, I'm sorry. Right, he's not doing some sort of Morse code thing.
No, I think he's just trying to get...
yet because it's not the 1950s.
All right,
it's the 1750s.
Jesus. Christ. But anyway, 10 minutes later, this worked. I'm just telling the story. I didn't write it.
Okay, no, I know. I'm just...
For fuck's sake. 10 minutes later, he asked them to re-enter the room as he had made contact with the ghost. So I'm guessing this was just to get the attention of the ghost. I will just talk over you.
Shit. Right. No, yeah, please go ahead.
So they then started questioning. Right. So I'm guessing this was just to get her to arrive, to get some rapping and a tapping.
Yep.
So they all came back into the room and they started asking questions. So the first question was, are you the wife of Mr. Kent? Mr. Kent being William.
Yep.
There was 2 knocks, signifying no.
Right.
Because I'm guessing they weren't married, as technicality. Did you die naturally? Was the next question. To which there was 2 knocks, implying that she had not died naturally.
So this is such bullshit. Right, sorry, yeah.
Next question was, by poison. Were you killed by poison? There was 1 knock. So, poison confirmed by the ghost. The next question is phrased weirdly and feels like it's almost a trick question. But the question was, did any person other than Mr. Kent administer the poison? To which there were 2 knocks. So, yes, it was Mr. Kent.
Well, yeah.
So, this ghost seems to confirm that William did indeed murder Fanny. I'm not sure why they asked if she was the wife, but not if she was Fanny. But they've said, did you die naturally? So they must have assumed it was Fanny based on the you're not married. I mean, I suppose there's not a third ghost, is there? So, yeah.
Well, we don't know. We don't friggin' know. Apparently, they're coming out of the friggin' woodwork over here. Right. Okay.
So, after more questions, a member of the audience, I guess there's a fucking audience there now, I don't know. Someone in the group asked, Kent, ask this ghost if you shall be hanged. To which he complied and asked the ghost if he was going to be hanged.
That's a bit much, isn't it, mate?
I think people are getting a bit, carried away with this now.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit...
lynch mobby.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit rarey.
So he asked a question and was answered by a single knock, implying, yes, he will be hanged for the murder.
Right.
William was a little bit sort of, ruffled by this, and...
Oh, you don't say! You don't say!
And loudly exclaimed...
A little bit ruffled!
Oh, yeah, you would
Sorry,
be.
ruffled. Look, the ghost says that I'm going to hang... Okay, sorry, I'll stop interrupting you.
It's all right. Yeah,
this is just such a stupid story,
right? It is all round. Kent exclaimed, "Thou art a lying spirit. Thou art not the ghost of my Fanny. She would never have said any such thing." So he doesn't believe that this is the ghost. Apparently he believes it is a ghost, but not the ghost of Fanny.
Right, yeah.
So, from what I gather, that was kind of the end of the seance. Maybe people got a bit leery, got carried away. It doesn't really say.
Well, you'd expect, after saying that, I mean, there's going to be some awkward looks there. I mean, he's not going to be impressed, is he?
No. I think, based on later in the story, he doesn't take this particularly well.
You don't say.
No.
I'd be pissed off.
Yeah, I think he is.
Because the thing is, at that time as well, people were very, very open to suggestion, weren't they?
Yeah.
You say that, a ghost said you're going to hang, and then people would be like, well, you do look a little bit like you're going to be hanged, though.
Yeah.
You do. And it's just a bit, I don't know.
You should just do it just in case.
You're looking a bit sus, my man.
Yeah.
Even though there's no grounds for them to say that, people make stuff up in their brains without realising.
Well, you are right, because public interest continued to grow. At this point,
Oh, no.
Before this, it was, rumblings and rumours and that sort of thing. But from this, the public are getting proper involved now. It's becoming a bit of a local story.
Oh,
God. And something that further fueled this was that the ghost appeared to follow the 11-year-old Elizabeth. So she went away to stay with a man called Mr. Bray, and further knocking and scraping sounds were heard there as well. So the noise is definitely following Elizabeth, the daughter, around.
Right.
I don't know why it's latched on to her.
No, but so their reasoning. Oh, okay. Was it because she had seizures, so they didn't understand what seizures were? So
Probably.
They said it was a ghost.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So they held a second séance to get some more. There was a new guest at this, a woman called Esther Carlisle, who had the nickname of Carrots on account of her red hair. They weren't very inventive back then with their nicknames.
That's cute.
Yeah, it is quite a cute name, to be fair. So she was Esther Carrots Carlisle. She was the woman. She was a maid who William and Fanny had employed back when, I don't know when, but this wasn't when Fanny was ill. So she had moved on to new jobs before Fanny passed away. And she didn't know that Fanny was actually dead prior to being approached for this séance.
Christ, that must have been a bit rough. It's like, oh yeah, this person you used to work for, she's dead. Do you want to come and help us chat with her
ghost.
Disembodied soul?
Yeah, well, it was John the priest who had approached her and invited her to the séance, presumably for some background information, or maybe the ghost would communicate with someone that she knew that was on good terms with,
trusted.
Yeah. So, and Carrots was questioned at the séance as well as part of this informal investigation, but the maid remained absolutely adamant that William and Fanny had been a loving couple, and Fanny hadn't mentioned any thoughts of that William might wish her harm. So Carrots, despite all this hysteria that's going on, she's very much they were a loving couple, they were beautiful together, that sort of thing, and just testified that William almost certainly didn't murder Fanny.
Right.
But Carrots took part in the séance, and she asked the ghost directly several questions. The first of which being, "Are you my mistress?" Presumably meaning boss rather than some sort of illicit mistress.
Yeah, not presumably. Yes,
yes,
obviously.
And to that there was one knock followed by scratches. So ghost confirmed that yes.
Oh, what does that mean?
Well,
no, but what the scratches made, is that like an exclamation mark?
Well, that leads Carrots into her next question, which was, "Are you angry with me, madam?" To which there was again one knock. So the ghost was angry with Carrots. So to which Carrots replied, "Then I am sure, madam, you may be ashamed of yourself, for I have never hurt you in my life." And at that, the séance was ended.
What?
Yeah. I'm not sure why. I don't...
Oh, come on!
That's a bit of a weird one, that. I don't know who ended the séance or why it was decided.
Maybe they're worried the ghost was about to get a bit leery.
Yeah, I guess with the scratching and Carrots taking absolutely no shit. Like, proper fiery red-headed woman by the sounds of things, saying you must be ashamed because you're full of shit to a ghost that's already angry.
Imagine saying that to a ghost.
I know.
You're full of shit.
Yeah, and you should be embarrassed for being full of shit.
Wow.
Yeah, she was having none of it. So yeah, that was the end of that séance. Nothing really came of it. I think maybe the priest and the landlord were hoping to get more information out of it, but it didn't go the way they wanted by the sounds of things. So maybe they ended the séance, I don't know. But public interest carried on growing and it started to get to real levels of fame by this point, to the point where the house on Cock Lane regularly drew a large crowd. And it's quite a narrow street, this Cock Lane. I've looked it up from the photos of what it's like now, and it is very narrow. It's almost like a back alley, but the crowds basically made the street completely impassable. You could not get down this street from the people outside, desperate to, see or hear this ghost, or just be part of what's going on. Richard, the owner of the house, the businessman, started charging people to enter the house and, in his words, talk to the ghosts. The ghost, sorry,
right.
Ghost singular. And apparently that was quite a worthwhile experience. People were willing to do it. The feedback was that the experience did not disappoint. So he's basically running this as a sideshow now. Come see the ghost. And as the public were now really invested in this and, clogging up streets trying to get to it and paying all this money to go see the ghost, the Lord Mayor of the time of London, Samuel Fludyer, he was approached by John and Richard to basically get involved with this. I don't know if they were going to him to sort of say, we need to prosecute William, or, I think they were angling that story that William needs to be arrested for this murder based on, public hysteria and all that stuff. But there had been a spate of ghost-based fraud in London at the time. So, I know, what a thing. So, yeah.
See, no, but that's the thing, though. Like, I'm thinking that, your man Richard, he's probably there on the other side of the wall, tapping and going, ooh, every time he gets people in.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has started charging,
him, to be honest.
To people to see this ghost. But because of this fraud that had been going on, the mayor refused to arrest anyone. He was like, we're not getting the legal things involved based on the testimony of a ghost. There had been...
yeah, that's right. Literally, the first person in this entire story that is starting to talk frigging sense.
Well, there had been, I think, quite a high-profile fraud case involving ghosts fairly sort of recently. So he was like, we're not going through that again.
Okay.
So he didn't really get involved. I think he does later on, but he's not arresting anyone. He's not taking this seriously. He's like, I cannot be caught out by another fraud. So yeah, he refused to do anything. But instead, so he actually is quite sensible based on this. He ordered, it doesn't sound like it's the nicest thing to do, but he ordered that Elizabeth, the daughter, go to be tested for her seizures.
Okay.
So I don't think it's anything particularly barbaric. I'm just kind of reading between the lines that, testing back then in asylums and that sort of thing were maybe not the nicest places. But there's no evidence of that. I'm just assuming. But the testing did involve further seances. So, I guess they're looking at it medically and spiritually as well. But
yeah.
So during the next seance, the ghost just didn't appear, which then started the rumblings that this might actually be fraud as well.
You don't say.
Yeah, so Richard, not wanting to be seen as a fraud, allowed his daughter to be further tested in a variety of ways. These sound almost like bizarre. There's something about that she was like suspended in a hammock or something. Again, it doesn't sound barbaric, it just sounds weird. So I don't think she was mistreated in any, awful way. But for a further 2 nights, the ghost was silent, and Elizabeth was told that if the ghost made no more appearances or noises, she and her father would be sent to Newgate Prison for fraud. So that's a bit harsh, saying to an 11-year-old.
That's very, very harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
So she's getting a bit of a rough end of the stick with this. And Richard as well. They're both being accused of fraud of this ghost. But her maids that had been looking after her did see her conceal a small piece of wood about 6 by 4 inches somewhere on her dress. So she sort of tucked it away in her pocket or something. So she's carrying a bit of wood around. They're getting suspicious at this point that actually Elizabeth's making the noises. And so they came to the conclusion that Elizabeth had been making these noises and her father had pressured her into doing it. So she was allowed to go home shortly after. So, they're not awful. They're letting her go home once they've sort of said, no, we think you're full of shit. But then, I don't know if this was Richard that claimed this or if this was like a public making excuses for Richard. But there were claims that the reason the ghost hadn't appeared was because the body had been removed from its resting place.
Right.
So yeah,
So did they go and check?
Yes, they did. Right. So, accompanied by members of the church, the body was exhumed. This was William's idea. He allowed it, they're like, right, get the priests, we're going to put this to bed once and for all. Sort this shit out. So for John Moore, the priest, this was too much for him, and he published a retraction of his original sort of accusations and stuff. It's quite a long-winded one. The summary of it is that he believed himself to have been conned by the ghost, but he did... yeah. So he still believes it's a ghost. He just believes that the ghost tricked him. And he did retract the accusations against William. So he's like, oh, actually, no, he's not a murderer. But this ghost tricked me. I am completely not to blame for this.
Okay. All right, mate.
Yeah. And they did exhume the body, and it did show... I think it showed the sort of the scarring associated with was it smallpox or whatever she actually apparently did die of. So yeah, the body basically kind of corroborated everything William had been saying.
But had it been messed with?
No, it was just in the thing.
He was lying. Okay, so Richard was lying then. So we know that he was talking crap.
So Richard had basically coerced his daughter into making these noises, pretending to be a ghost.
What, from the very beginning?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not from. I don't think that the ghost of Elizabeth would have been, because obviously Fanny hadn't died at that point.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that was just a coincidence. Old houses making noises, and then that when Fanny died, he was like, "Oh, that must have been a ghost," and made up this elaborate story. I don't know. I don't know his motivations, but so William, who obviously quite pissed off at all this, of like, you've accused me of murdering my wife with this bullshit ghost story.
What the shit, dude?
Yeah. So he brought about a trial. So he took, lots of people to court over this, and he brought about the trial for conspiracy to take away his life by charging him with the murder of Frances Fanny Lyons, by giving her poison whereof she died. So he's like, yeah, you conspired to ruin my life by saying I poisoned my wife. And the courtroom was crowded with spectators. This is quite a well-known story at the time.
Well, yeah.
And so lots of people came to watch this trial. I imagine there's probably not a lot else going on, to be fair. And he gave evidence... William gave evidence on the thing, and he told the court about his relationship with Fanny and her resurrection as Scratching Fanny. That's right, this whole episode has been an elaborate story for me to fucking say the word Scratching Fanny.
What?
That was the nickname they had actually given to the ghost. That's the official nickname, Scratching Fanny. I find it funny.
I mean, it's not.
I mean, it is.
But so who? So okay, no, right. So who?
There is more to the
story. Who was making up the what? Okay, right.
I just wanted to really dwell on Scratching Fanny.
No, I don't want to dwell on that. Keep going.
Okay, so other witnesses were called. Some believing that it had always been a trick. I don't know if that was, oh yeah, no, I never believed it, or whether, they were suspicious. So the judge spent about 90 minutes summing up the case. So quite a lengthy case by the sounds of things, if the judge takes 90 minutes to sum it up. But it only took the jury 15 minutes to reach a verdict of guilty for all the defendants. So all the people involved in this con, because there was a few. John Moore and Richard James. I forget who Richard James was. Is he the landlord?
Richard James is the landlord.
No, that's Richard.
Oh, that's just Richard. Okay.
That's a different Richard.
So is so James is what?
No, Richard Parsons is the landlord. Richard James is someone else. I think he was involved, but I'm not entirely sure how. But John Moore, the priest anyway, and this Richard James, they agreed to pay Kent £588 as their punishment. So they struck a deal and said, look, we'll give him this amount. And they were sort of just released based on their sort of voluntary punishment. Whereas Richard Parsons, he was ordered to the pillory 3 times in 1 month, once of which was at the pillory at the end of Cock Lane. And he was also sentenced to 2 years in prison for his...
You're going to have to explain what the hell a pillory is.
The stocks, from what I gather.
Oh, right.
So, putting the stocks in public for people to, humiliate and throw things at.
So they decided that he was one of the people behind this elaborate hoax.
Yes. So Richard Parsons, the owner of the business, had made all this up, and he'd roped a few other people in. So John Moore, the priest, which, from what I gather, I don't think he was intentionally conning anyone. I think Richard had conned John into, based on his Methodist beliefs and him being quite susceptible to believing in ghosts. I think Richard had conned him. But I'm guessing John felt guilty because he almost volunteered his punishment. He said, I will pay. I don't know how the amount was agreed on, but he sort of said, look, he must have felt guilty and agreed to be punished. But he didn't get any, stocks or prison time. He just paid a lot of money. So Richard Parsons, was sent to 2 years in prison, and he had to spend 3 sessions in the pillory within a month. But I think at the first one, he maintained his innocence throughout all of this. He said, he never admitted to it. But during the first session in the stocks, I think he sort of broke down and was very, very distraught and reacted quite badly. So I think they delayed his other 2. But during the second and third sessions, the public actually took pity on him and felt a bit of compassion for him, which I imagine was quite rare back then, and actually even started collecting money for him. Because I guess they either still believed in the ghost story or just felt bad for how he was receiving his punishment.
So did he actually admit to doing it?
At no point.
Or did he insist?
He maintained his innocence throughout the whole thing. Right. So, sorry, I just had to look up who Richard James was, the other person that sort of volunteered money. He was a tradesman, so I think he was the person that investigated the taking the paneling off the bed and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So I think that's how he was involved. So yeah, and it says 5 people were convicted, I think, but I don't know who the other 2 were. I think maybe they might have been people that he'd roped in to help tell his story. But yeah, that's kind of the conclusion of that it was all big scam by Richard. That's kind of is still the believed thing. There was a bit.
But why?
I think just to capitalize on it, he did start charging people to come in.
Yeah, I get that, but why specifically do this to William?
I think they had a bit of a falling out, with him owing William some money that he didn't repay or begrudgingly repaid.
Well, fine, but Jesus, this is a lot.
It's not really explained why he did it. Just that he, eventually got tried for it and sent to prison.
So, does anyone have any idea whether he actually did do it, or?
I think it's common belief that he did.
Right.
I think that the court was accurate in their sentencing of him, and the evidence, the fact that it took the public 15 minutes to just go, yeah, he absolutely did it.
Right. And then he tried to sort of scapegoat his own daughter.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like the nicest of people.
Yeah, to be fair, he was the one who was sort of pushing the whole ghost thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think she was just roped into it and did what her dad said, especially at 11. I do feel a bit bad for her.
So, are you thinking that Richard was there when... Oh, so maybe he was trying to do it the first time round. He was doing the tapping and stuff on the walls to freak... Fanny out.
Well, I don't know about that because,
and then it just didn't work. What else could the tapping have been? If it wasn't him, if he was right, I'm going to see if I can get this guy done. So I'm going to pretend to be a ghost, and then he had no idea that she was actually going to die. So then he was the one who, when the tapping started again, was like, oh, she was warning her.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the first lot of noises were just a strange noise that, you know, you hear.
What? And then he thought, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah, I think.
I'm going
to do
this.
But then when Fanny actually died, maybe he then, came up with this scheme of like, oh, well, I heard those noises a few months back or whatever it was. Maybe I can spin this into a ghost story, especially that I think they had a bit of a falling out over the money. Maybe he's just a scheming person. I honestly don't know. It's not really sort of mentioned in that much in what I can see why he did it. Just that he did. Maybe it was to make some money. Maybe they'd had a falling out. It's not really explained. Like, because he maintained his innocence throughout all of it. That he hadn't done anything wrong. I don't think anyone could know why he did it because he never admitted to it.
Yeah.
But
do you think? But then again, like you said that he was doing crap like at the séance. He got everyone out of the room and then did some stamping.
That was John.
Like,
that was the priest.
That's sus. That was the priest.
Yeah.
So, well, then he was in on it as well. Then.
Well, yeah,
Because there's no way.
I'm wondering if, because it didn't mention that the daughter was in the room, or maybe he just couldn't. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, maybe the priest is a bit more sus than I initially gave him credit for.
Yeah. But then there would have to have been some sort of deal between them. Like, oh, okay, so you pretend that there's a ghost and I'll give you a bit of money.
Maybe. Or unless Richard was still in the room and he asked everyone else to leave and Richard just made some more noise. Because, I didn't mention that the daughter was in the room during the séances, so Richard must have been making the noises. But that does explain why it accused Carrots, why it got angry with Carrots, is that maybe Richard, who was actually doing the tapping, didn't know the story and was like, well, yeah, she's probably pissed off at the maid for not saving her, so kind of guessed and got the wrong thing, and maybe that's why the séance was ended suddenly when Carrots was like, yeah, fuck you, no, I've never done anything wrong. Maybe he's like, oh shit, this is getting out of control.
Yeah, it's proper suspicious, and it's like I was saying before, the fact that they went straight to the idea of it being a ghost. It's just really sus. But yeah, like I want to know what his motive was, and maybe William was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But then, why go through all of this? Maybe it was one of those things where he didn't quite realise how far it was going to go, and then it just got completely out of control.
I mean, Richard did invite William, seeming quite generous, into his house, but maybe he did have ulterior motives at the start. It was like, well,
that's another point as well. Yeah, maybe he was stalking around looking for someone that he could do this elaborate ghost-based thing.
Especially this this sort of, I don't know if they were young. It doesn't say their ages, but this couple that presumably had been living somewhat quietly to not bring attention to the fact they weren't married, and they'd had trouble with their previous landlord, so maybe it was like, well, here's this vulnerable couple that are acting a little bit strange, so they've probably got something to hide, and they're in this vulnerable position of, falling out with the landlord. Maybe I can capitalise this, and then the ghost story just formed around that.
But this is why I'm thinking that it's the first lot of tapping was him, because I don't feel like he could have known that Fanny was going to die. So that was his first attempt, and then it didn't take off because William and Fanny were like, no, screw this, we're going to go and find somewhere else to live. So Richard was like, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So there's no way that he could have known that she was going to die unless he was the one that killed her.
Yeah, but
it seems like that he wasn't.
No, I think she did just die of natural causes. Maybe his story just evolved once she had died. But I'm wondering how he knew about William's first wife. Because if he knew about William's first wife, then he must have known that Fanny was Elizabeth's sister, and therefore they couldn't be legally married. Unless he didn't. Maybe they didn't say that. Maybe they just said, oh, my ex-wife died. My new wife is definitely not related to her.
I kind of feel like that's the kind of thing that would have been shared on the grapevine, like, especially back then.
Yeah.
I think it's it's entirely possible that he had heard it just like through gossip. Maybe that's the reason why he targeted them.
Yeah, although
I don't know.
Fanny and Elizabeth's family did live back in Norfolk, from what I gather, which is back then is a long way from London. You know, I don't know if word travels that far.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Although they did manage to contact their family, didn't they? So yeah, maybe. Maybe he just found out and then thought, right, I'm going to scam these two. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't really know the motivation of that. But there's...
So it's not even a ghost story?
Not...
It's just some guy going mental.
Yes.
Basically.
I'm trying to accuse someone. But this is quite... Apparently, I'd never heard of this before, sort of doing my research. But it's quite a relatively well-known one. There was a lot of... In the aftermath of it, there was a lot of discussion, especially between Methodists and, I believe, Anglicans, about their beliefs in ghosts, because Methodists are very likely to believe in ghosts based on their religion. I think their religion is quite... There's lots of different groups within it, from what I gather. But one thing that they almost all agree on is the existence of sort of ghosts, or they're more likely to believe it. Whereas the Anglicans are less likely to believe in ghosts. So I think it brought about like a lot of discussion within sort of different groups of Christianity. And
right, I mean, you're saying it like they weren't just chatting shit about each other. I'm pretty sure they were chatting shit about each other. They probably
were.
Right.
Well, the some of the Anglicans did actually accuse the Methodists of getting involved so that they could actively establish the existence of ghosts. They were kind of like, you got involved in this to prove they exist, rather than, genuine interest. There was a lot of, sort of mudslinging, from what I gather, based around this.
So, yeah, there's no way that Richard could have known that it would go to, like, this.
Yeah, I think it got out of hand.
It seems like it got so out of hand, and I think he probably just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, the Cock Lane ghost, I think it became a bit of a thing of a sort of... a metaphor for like false stories, almost like the Cock Lane ghost is a common phrase for suggesting something is bullshit. I think, from what I gather, it was mentioned in two of Charles Dickens's works, A Tale of Two Cities and Dombey and Son, both mention the ghost of Cock Lane. I think in possibly maybe a satire sort of way, as if to say someone's calling someone else out on a lie, and references the ghost of Cock Lane as a thing.
Right. So it is generally, like, even today, it is generally assumed that he did it.
Yeah.
Even though he insisted. Maybe he was one of those people who believes their own lies. Because I don't know. I mean, I think I'd probably be like, look, okay, it's a fair cop. Yes, I made it up because I was trying to, I don't know. Maybe he thought that William had loads of money, what with him being a sort of loan shark. It's probably money motivated.
Yeah, it normally is, isn't it?
But I think, I think definitely when you get to the point where you're saying to the guy who you are accusing of killing his ex that, oh, I wouldn't be able to do it with a straight face. I wouldn't.
No.
Like, I wouldn't. It, like, if I'd said to you, oh, Luke, so me and me man, the priest from down the road, we've been hearing tapping and stuff in the house, and I chatted to it, and it's a ghost, and the ghost said that you murdered your ex. Like, I wouldn't, like, I mean, for a start, I wouldn't do that because you've got no money, so I would have literally no reason to try and blackmail you. But I can't imagine... Like, I think that would be the point where I go, no, okay, no, I'm sorry. I admit I'm being daft. Yes, okay, I was just trying to get your money.
Yeah.
But he keeps going.
Oh, you got to appreciate the graft. Like, he's working for it.
Yeah, but you've got to know when to stop with stuff like that. The fact that it got to a point where it became this actual big conversation amongst the main religions of the time is just nuts.
Yeah. Oh, the whole story is just mad. I'll never understand his reasons or why he didn't just confess. It's Yeah.
At what point would you confess?
I mean, I wouldn't have done it to start with. I'd have maybe lasted a day at best. I'm like, yeah, I can't keep this shit up. My memory's not good enough to lie about things. I'm a very honest person where I can be, because I can't keep track of lies. I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah.
Especially like when ghosts are involved. I'm not even sure I believe in ghosts, to be honest. So if I don't believe that it could even be possible, how am I supposed to convince other people? It's a strange one. The house was demolished at some point in London, as most things in London are demolished and rebuilt, but you can still visit the place where the house would have been. It's the modern address is believed to be 20 Cock Lane in London, so if anyone wants to visit that, I think maybe we should go one day and actually visit it. The house believed to have been built...
Well, why? There isn't a ghost. I don't want to go if there's not a ghost.
I mean, no, but it'd be, nice to see the place of an urban legend, see the street where the crowds gathered, if ever in the area.
No, I want a ghost. Give me a ghost.
Maybe there is a ghost there now.
I'm not leaving my house for anything less than a slightly spooky ghost.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the house was believed to have been built in the late 17th century, so 1600 and something, presumably. And it was demolished in 1979. So fairly recently, the house would have been still around. The street's still there, from what I can see on the photos. It looks quite sort of narrow and slightly spooky, so I can see why people maybe got caught up in the hysteria of it being haunted.
People believe what they want to, though, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And weirdly, I'm trying to research this as we're talking. One of the investigators of the story has since become a meme. It's a photo I recognised. It's Dr. Johnson, and the name of the meme is Blinking Sam.
Right.
And I think the person in that meme, I think it's an old-fashioned painting. It's an old 1700s guy looking at a piece of paper, almost in disbelief, and then looking up almost to the camera.
Oh yeah. I know that one.
Yeah.
Was it one of the? Was it the guy?
It's a portrait of Samuel Johnson, also known as Blinking Sam, and it's an oil painting of English lexicographer Samuel Johnson reading. I don't know what part Samuel Johnson played, but I think he was part of the people that maybe either investigated the...
Wasn't he the... Oh, okay. I thought he was the mayor.
No, so I found it here now. So Samuel Johnson is a Christian man, and he was one of the people involved in the religious discussion around the aftermath of this.
Yeah. And
so he was just involved in that. But yeah, it's just a tie to a recent meme that I had no idea when I first started this.
So that was basically when he got the note through his door saying, "Oh, by the way, there's a ghost."
There's
that was
shit
what he
kicking
like.
Off in London. Yeah, I don't think the picture
so
is...
the portrait artist just happened to be there at the time. It was like, oh, I'll immediately just paint you just looking at this note.
Yeah, in disbelief. I don't think that painting was specifically related to this thing. It's the same man, like a religious sort of scholar, I'm guessing, that got involved in the debate after this. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting little side fact that Blinking Sam, as the meme is known, or the painting is known perhaps, was actually involved in this story.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's something I recognise from pop culture. And yeah, I think it's been referenced in a few other things throughout the years. It's a relatively well-known one. I'd never heard of it before. I don't know if you had. The Ghost of Cock Lane.
No.
Or the alleged Ghost of Cock Lane. Yeah, that's all I have on the story. I hope that was entertaining for you and our listeners.
Right. I mean, that was quite a roller coaster. There was a lot of emotions going on.
Well, yeah, I knew from the start that it was a scam, because obviously I'd researched this, but I didn't want to reveal it straight away. So when you were like, these guys are full of shit, I was kind of like, yeah, no, they are.
It was just, it was suspicious to me.
Yeah.
But then at the time, it's the kind of thing that they would have possibly believed. It was more the fact that it is possible that they might have run straight to the idea that it was a ghost, but it was a bit too suspicious. Like, rather than doing tests and stuff and ruling out all the other things, ruling out the cobbler,
Yeah.
like, it's just a bit much.
Do you think you would have?
It was just very suspicious.
Do you think you would have got caught up in the sort of hysteria and be sort of queuing outside to go in and talk to this ghost, or do you think you would have been a bit more skeptic at the time?
Well, as a female in the mid-1700s, I would have had literally nothing else to do apart from have children. So, yes.
I mean, yeah, I suppose if your husband had dragged you along to it, you'd have had no choice. But would you have believed?
Oh no, I'd have been there because I would have been there because I'd been like, oh, fantastic! I get 5 minutes away from those little shits at home. Yeah. I'd have been there. I'd be well involved.
I could spend time with this haunted little shit. Apparently, this haunted 11-year-old. Yeah. I honestly don't know if I'd have believed it. I think I'd have gone along to see what all the stuff, what it was all about and all the hysteria was about. I don't know if I'd have believed it or just treated it as a, like you go to sort of haunted places nowadays. It's like, do you actually believe it or do you just want to have a bit of a spooky day out sort of thing? Yeah. I think if you genuinely believed a house to be haunted, would you go there? It's the whole thing about, like, if you actually believed what magicians do is real, you'd actually be horrified. You go to a magic show and you know you're being tricked. But that's part of the fun, isn't it, of trying to figure out how you're being tricked. If you actually believed a man could actually levitate on stage, it would absolutely, rock your world, wouldn't it? You'd just be absolutely terrified almost. So I wonder if it's the same with ghosts, like haunted places. That if people actually believe them to be haunted, they wouldn't go. I don't know.
I mean, I will say that, like, talking about it now, I'd quite happy to go there and be like, oh, supposedly there's a ghost here. Oh, no, so spooky. But then if you then left me alone for the night in the place where the horrific murder happened and there's a ghost in the dark, I would be shitting myself. And I know that for an absolute fact. So
yeah, I don't do well in spooky places on my own. I get into my own head and start imagining things. So no, I wouldn't go there alone. But I think I'd go there as like a touristy sort of thing in a group, or do do a ghost tour or something. I'd quite enjoy those.
Well, even if there was a group, I'd probably be a little bit spooked. But
yeah, safety in numbers, I suppose, is what would give me comfort.
Oh, yeah, because the ghost is going to look at a group of you and go, oh, no, never mind.
Well, this one, apparently, there was too much noise with someone yelling, Fanny, come on, Fanny. Apparently that spooked the ghost off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it would spook me off.
Yeah, it would.
So, fair play.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope our listeners did too. And I hope they join us next time for more spooky stories. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, or tales of deceit and wonder.
Yes, and mystery and intrigue.
Okay, what's our sign off? Do we have a sign off catchphrase?
Scratching Fanny.
No.